Welcome. Welcome to our physical geography lab, live Zoom. Today, we're going to be discussing the course outline, syllabus, materials, other things involved, and generally give you a rundown of what to expect and how to be successful in this class, okay? So I see there's a few people in the audience. I did make this optional, and that's totally fine. For those that are out there, you're welcome to interrupt me at any point. Just speak up. I'm not really keeping an eye on the chat, but if you have something to say, just unmute and feel free to stop me from rambling. That would be great. And let's see. So if you don't have anything to say, that's okay too. It's really more, this is informational. I do this every semester. Things change in my classes. And so I feel it's important to give you guys the updates. And, we normally have the first day of class, you sit there and you go through something like this, right? Like, you have to do something like that. I feel that it's important in my role to share this with you guys. And if I'm recording it, I might as well give you the opportunity to be here live. So perfect. And I know a lot of you guys, most of you are actually watching this pre-recorded, which is fine. Okay, so what I want to do to start with is take a look at the syllabus, okay? And start talking about the syllabus so that you guys know what we're here to do. This is 1L, which stands for lab, okay, physical geography lab, as it's stated. If you're in my lecture course also, perfect. That one is just one by itself. This is a 1-unit class. You'll definitely feel like you're doing more work than probably what 1 unit would justify. It's a little strange that they have it that way. But I think broken down, the way things are broken down, they don't want to have more than 4 units for both of these classes combined. And so combined, it's important, actually, if you didn't know this already, that you have this class and the lecture class. You don't have to take them at the exact same time, but that you have both classes on your transcript, because you have to have both, even though they are separate classes, you have to have both. They're counted as, kind of one package when you go to transfer your credits to a university. So if you have questions about anything like that, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to do what I can to, answer things the best way possible. Oh, by the way, I should probably put this at the beginning, actually. That's me. I'm Jeffrey. Okay. You can call me Professor Miller or Jeffrey or Jeff. I will respond to any of those. You can email me directly. Here's my address here, J Miller. Okay. So just get in touch with me anytime. You can also use the Canvas Messenger, and I try to respond to those as quickly as possible as well. This class is a, virtual, so online, and it's also asynchronous modality. Okay, so asynchronous as opposed to synchronous. Well, synchronous would be the model where you traditionally get together, whether it's in person or online, but you get together and you meet at a certain time. Like say, if it's online, you go on the Zoom link, Monday, Wednesdays, 10:30 to 12:30 or something like that, right? The teacher might take roll or might not, whatever, but that's when they have a live instruction, right? Each one of those times. For us, asynchronous, we don't do that, okay? We don't have any live scheduled meetings at all. What we've done is I've put together a series of pre-recorded videos, and these are meant to help guide you through the lab exercises. So it's not the same as the lecture, at least the videos are not the same. The lecture is like 30-40 minutes long per video, explaining the theory, Whereas these are shorter bites, 5-6 minutes of like, here's how you do this exercise. Here's how you do these set of problems, stuff like that, right? Because they should be pretty separate. Now, the concepts are the same, right? So you just learned about Earth-Sun relationship in the lecture, you know, and then we do a lab related to that. There might not be an exact synchronage of the timing between everything, but I've tried to make things as, you know, close, at least in the beginning, as they could be, right? You can't do labs on everything. I learned putting this course together, but for the most part, there is a linkage between lecture and lab. So yeah, asynchronous, again, that means you don't have to actually physically be live on a Zoom at any point. If you do want to see me live and on Zoom, you can check in on my office hour, and that's every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Okay, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. You just go click this little link. I actually have a more convenient link on Canvas. You click on it, you come to the room, and boom, I'm there, right? And that's an open office hour. So like, for example, tomorrow is Wednesday, I'll be there at 3 p.m. Okay. Yeah, and that's a first come, first serve thing. You know, I usually have 3 or 4 students pop in per hour. Sometimes not even that, sometimes none come. That's okay. I encourage you to do so if you have specific questions. I think you probably will in this class, being that you have practical exercises to work through. If you get stuck, perfect, come see me and I'll be happy to work with you to work through some of the problems, okay? If you can't make this office hour, again, this only goes for 1 hour, right? So at 4, I'm out, I log out of that. But if you can't make that time, you know, just let me know and I will do my best to accommodate you for a different scheduled time. We'll try and see if we can fit something on the calendar. Let's put it that way, okay? We are going to be using a scanned digital copy. This was from a colleague of mine, Professor Quinn, who wrote the Physical Geography Lab Manual a few years ago. So it's not all from him, to be honest with you, and this is not something that you could purchase. If you look this up, it's not going to be available for you. I had to essentially source these materials from various places. Most of it comes from here, but other things I wrote myself. And so there might not be always the same type of formatting involved with each lab. Let's put it this way though. Each module, I will give you a like a chapter or a set of instructions per each module. So like, you know, 8 to 10 pages or so of exercise, kind of, you know, step-by-step material to do so-and-so's exercise. So you watch the videos that correspond to that, and then you go in and you do the problems. So like I said, you don't have to worry about buying any textbook or renting anything or whatever. I just give it all to you, actually. Okay. Okay. So let's quickly kind of go over what we do here. Well, physical geography just itself. Physical geography to summarize, we'd say it's, you know, Mother Nature in terms of spatial components. So you say, oh, great, you know, what could be related to Mother Nature? Well, clouds, weather, mountains, rivers, ocean, that kind of stuff, right? Hurricanes, whatever. Okay, all good to know. And we will learn, well, you will learn all that stuff in the lecture class, but then how does it relate to you know, each other, right? Space-wise. So why are the mountains where they are in the Sierra Nevadas? Or why does the snow fall in the mountains as opposed to not falling by the ocean or whatever, right? Why is the ocean where it is? That kind of stuff. That's physical geography in a nutshell. In this class, compared to the other one, we will do actual hands-on exercises and problems. In the beginning, you'll see some math involved. It's basic arithmetic stuff. kind of figuring out mapping locations and coordinates, that kind of thing. So there is a little bit of that involved, which is okay. If you have any issues with that, let me know. Okay, watch my videos, and hopefully that will help you, at least in the first steps. But if you get stuck, that's fine. You can get in touch with me. And okay, I see a hand goes up. Yes, do you have a comment there?
I have a question. Do we need a specific calculator for this lab?
No, you don't. You don't. Just a basic or your phone's calculator is fine. Good question, actually. There's no, this is not calculus, okay? This is not even algebra 2 or anything like that, I promise you. So a basic calculator or even something that's on your phone should work fine. I see another comment. I'm just quickly going over so I don't miss this. From Ignacio, the class, I understand the book will be provided. Is the book different from the lecture class? Yes, the book is different. In terms of like the lecture, you definitely have, this is the book for the lecture class. Okay, it's from a specific, actually a handful of authors, published, etc. Okay, for the lab, what I've done is I've kind of pulled together or wrote on my own accord lab instructions for you guys per the modules / weeks that we're going through, right? So it's not something that you could buy in a bookstore or even download online. It's really something that you're only going to get from being in this class, the materials that I provide for you guys, okay? Okay, so yeah, this is an exercises type of class, okay? I'm going to go through Canvas in a moment once I finish all this, and hopefully that helps also clarify things. All right, I think I kind of summed up the objectives and like what this course is all about, kind of thing. So I'm going to kind of zoom through all of these things, okay, and get to the nuts and bolts, like the attendance. Being that this is asynchronous, I just want to reemphasize that we do not have regular meetings, okay? We do not have regular meetings each week. The office hours are the only time, really, per week that you can meet with me, right? If you guys meet with each other, that's great. I highly encourage that. I've had many examples where students set up their own little, study groups. That's great. But no, I don't do, we don't have live, like this is it basically. And the only reason I'm doing it, having you guys live with me here, and again, said it was optional, was because I was going to record this anyways. I do this all the time, each semester. Office hours, 100% voluntary. Okay, I think I've belabored that point enough. I put lectures here and resources. I should just put, change that word to, I don't know, tutorial rundown or something, because they're not really lectures. But I do provide you guys pre-recorded videos, okay? Pre-recorded videos. These are all posted on YouTube. You can't access them all at one time because they're unlisted, but you can access them as we go through the weeks. But yeah, you get to watch these videos at your convenience. Background objective guidance. Yeah, so here's the important part, right? Background objectives, excuse me, and guidance for the labs. So I'm going to show you, I'll show you an example here when we get to Canvas. Bear with me. Okay, let's try to talk about what I call procedure. So like basically what to expect when you come to this class, all right? Like how you do this class, put it that way, okay? It's broken down into modules, right? And so the modules have a brief little tutorial lab, a little tutorial and of the lab, and then how to perform the lab. So like, again, walk through what to do without doing all the problems for you, by the way. And then you complete the lab problems from the manuals that I give you guys, each week. Now, with that being said, well, okay, let me just try to go through these one at a time here. I post all of these lab materials on Canvas. if you want to print these materials out, you can, but it's not necessary. I'm not going to ask you guys to turn in any actual like paper or scan documents. Well, I take that back. There's a few times when I do. There are a few labs when I ask for that. Other labs, I have you guys. So here's some omissions that I need to make. I see here. It's not all lab work. It's like there's a few, and I'll cover this when I cover Canvas. Actually, you know what? Let me kind of skip through this because I think it's going to make more sense when I talk about Canvas. I don't want to be too redundant here. Plus, I'm trying to be conscious of our time. Again, okay, so you use the lab materials, you work out these problems, paper, you could even, write them down on an Excel spreadsheet or other things if they're math problems. But then you have a quiz on Canvas that's associated with the lab work. So again, let's hold off and wait till we get to Canvas and I'll show you how this breaks down. Okay. Just making sure I don't miss anything in particular here. Success in this course depends on observing all content in the module, watching the videos, practicing the labs before you take a lab quiz, right? So that's a key. That's a key to that, right? So we'll get there. Okay, we'll get there. You've got the labs. Those are your weekly or bi-weekly assignment. Then you've got 2 exams also. Okay, so in this class, your exams they're like lab questions or lab problems that you just covered over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever it is. But these ones will be all brand new. So they won't be ones that you've had the chance to practice with. Okay. Or at least, the questions themselves, I won't present to you. You've gotten the practice from doing the lab work the previous weeks. So you'll have 2 of these, right? 2 of these in the semester. Again, notice I don't say final exam because what I've done here is I've given you guys really 2 midterms. And then when we get to the tail end of the class, I've got these things called map labs. Okay. Map labs. Okay. Map labs are different. I think they're a little bit more challenging. And so I put more weight on them. And I also have them kind of be your conclusion to this class. So your map labs, there's 2. I might actually add a 3rd, but I'll let you know if that happens. But you've got these map labs where you go in and you'll use a software, and I'm going to share with you guys how to do all this stuff. But you go in and use a software and you do some digital mapping exercises. So it's pretty neat, actually. You go in, there's one of them where you go and you make a map of Chabot, like the same type of map that you would see if you went to the campus and you tried to walk around and find things. I'm going to show you guys, and you're going to work through how to make that all on your own, right? So that's just an example. There could be others where I have you guys use GPS. Did you know that every day, all day, when you walk around, you have GPS, right? So I'm going to show you guys a lab where you get to exploit this and put it onto a map that then you could share with other folks. So it's neat when we get to this point. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So talking about the grades, I know this is a little bit unique. All right. It may sound a little different, but I have some techniques that I've worked through over the past semesters to make this really kind of work well for you guys. All right. When it comes to your grades, your labs, there are 7 standard, let's call them 7 standard labs, right? The ones that are, quiz based, or if I have you turn in a paper or something like that. But there's 7 of those. Then you've got your 2 exams. Okay. And those are big points as well. Your map labs are worth more than your standard labs, right? So those are 50 each, giving us a total of, not sure why this has that on there, but yeah, here's your total, and then here's your breakdown. Points and grades are straightforward in terms of like how I evaluate you guys. There's no curve to it or anything like that. You get a 90 and above, you get an A. You get an 80 and above, you get a B, like that. Okay. I try to keep the grades as current as possible on Canvas, so you can always check in and see where you're at. And if you have a question in terms of like, hey, what do I need to get if I want, what kind of grade do I need on the next 3 assignments to get an A in the class or something, I'm happy to try to work that out with you and figure that out for you. Okay, I don't see any questions or anything. I'll take your silence as an acknowledgement, and that's perfectly fine. If you have anything, again, you can speak up at any point. If you do have any special needs accommodations that you need, just reach out to me and make sure that I can help you in that regard. I do everything I can to support you. But let me know ahead of time. That's totally cool. The cheating and the conduct stuff and these special programs, I'm going to kind of skip through that and let you guys read that on your own. These all come directly from the Chabot's, requirements. And so I'll just kind of leave it like that. Oh, yes, Chelsea, go ahead.
Hi, how long does one lab take?
A few hours. I think a few hours is reasonable to dedicate to it. Let's do this right now, since that's a good question. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and open up and look through Canvas and see if we can explore a sample lab. Okay. Well, here's our very first one, which is about latitude and longitude. Let's see. Okay. So let me just kind of run down this and try to answer your question as I talk through this, okay? For lab 1, notice I've got the date here, which was actually yesterday, first week of the class. This kind of keeps me on track and keeps me organized. The other modules that come afterwards are locked until the dates that are posted up here, right? Or down here, right? So you can't just go through and hammer them all out at like one crazy weekend or something like that. You have to do them week by week. I think I give you guys 2 weeks to do this one. Yeah, I think that's the only 2 week example. Oh no, I give you another 2. I give you 2 weeks to do the contours one. Actually, so some of them are 2 weeks, some of them are 1 week, because then we get down to the map labs, and these are also 2 weeks. Otherwise, they are 1 week, or however it's posted this way. Notice your dates also, these are all Mondays, okay? And yeah, so these are Mondays, meaning that the due dates for your assignments are on Sundays, right? February 6th is this coming Sunday. So let's take a look and preview this first lab here. Okay, just click on this first thing here. Okay, lessons and objectives. You're going to be calculating coordinates. That's what that's the goal here. So you can read through. Quiz questions only come from pages 11 and 12. Okay, cool. So you kind of get an idea about what to do. Let's take a look at the next page. Okay, so I didn't really necessarily mean to make this a discussion. I just wanted to link these videos together for you guys. So I have here's the bytes that I was talking about, right? So okay, let's talk about lat long. What's this all about? Well, I have a short theory for this for you guys. And then sometimes there'll be a short theory, like a carryover from my theory course, but not the entire lecture. Okay, just the byte. And then here we have adding and subtracting coordinates. Before I cover this, let's go over here. I guess I should have put that in a different order, but this is the lab instructions for said week. Okay, like here, this PDF that I have for you guys. And you'll see these in each module. There'll be a unique PDF. Okay. Now this was a scanned one that I pulled from Quinn's lab manual. Some of them look like this, and some of them look more like documents. Either way, this is what you're going to get. So you're going to go through, you're going to practice some of these questions. This one in particular, I only have you guys do in terms of like what you're going to be quizzed on from pages 11 and 12. Okay, so everything else here, 1 through 10, is practice. I highly encourage you guys to try these out, because it really enforces the concept, helps reinforce the concepts for when you get down to here. You know, being this is the first one, this one's probably going to take you, I would say, at least 2 to 3 hours. Okay, 2 to 3 hours. But yeah, let's say we get down to page 11 here, right? I know it's 9 of 9 kind of thing, but kind of use whatever is posted on the paper itself. What I would do if I was you, I would print this document. Okay, I would print this document. Then I would take a pencil and I would start, filling these problems out, trying to go through these problems. As you're looking through this, it will be helpful if you refer back to my videos here. So like, here's an example of how to add and subtract coordinates. Well, if I click on that, it'll take you straight to the YouTube link, which, by the way, is the same, is the same as, I know I'm all over the place. I'm trying to make this so you can put a side-by-side comparison. It is the same as, one more time, here, page 11, okay? There it is, there, okay? Right, there it is, okay. So it might be kind of hard to see with all the stuff I've got going on my screen. There, does that help? Okay, so this is the exact same thing. I printed out the papers, and in this video, I go through and I answer, I think I answer one or two of these for you guys, trying to help you, figure out, the subtraction and the addition and subtraction components of working with coordinates and so on. Okay, and there's usually 2 or 3 videos associated with this, okay, per lab. So yeah, it's a little back and forth that you're going to work with, and especially, like I said, if you don't fill these out ahead of time, when you get to, I see your hand, Nikisha, and I'll get to you in 1 second. When you get to here, because all that stuff is great, right? Filling it out on paper and practicing, but you don't, in this example, you will not turn that into me. What you're going to do is you're going to come here to this first quiz. Now it says quiz. It's not really a quiz. I mean, it is technically speaking, but if you read through this, here's where you input the answers to your first lab, right? So pages 11 and 12 from the lab manual. And let's see. So pretty much every question on here is exactly the same, okay? Is exactly the same as the document I just shared with you guys. So as you're filling out what you put on paper, when you're confident in what you wrote in your answers, you can carry that over and then, have your paper with you. When you take the quiz, it should be fast, actually, because the questions are exactly the same, okay? I give you guys 3 hours to fill this out, which is more than enough time. But it's a take it once and you start the timer and it goes, right, kind of thing. Due on February 6th, meaning that you could take it at any point in time from this day to this day, okay? Okay, so Nikisha, if you wanted to speak up now, it's a good time.
So for every lab, will one of your Byte videos have an example of the current lab we're working on? So like how this lab has a video that matches exactly up with the lab, will everyone have one of those?
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there'll be, some of them have 2 or 3 videos. Some of them, it'll be, like I said, kind of bites kind of thing, right? 5 to 10 minutes where it's, and I'm not, and again, I'm not answering like, say for example, as we look on my left screen, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 8 questions involved here. So I don't answer all 8 for you because it's the exact same things, right? But I'll answer the first one, maybe the second one, and then so I'll answer like one of the subtractions, one of the additions in the video, and then I'll stop. Okay. Then you have to answer the rest. Now, the thing that I'll do is when you take your quiz, 6 out of the 8 will be the same, and then there'll be 2 that are brand new. But the order of the when you actually take the quiz itself, the it shouldn't matter if I click this, you'll see that it's the exact same thing, right? So question 1, 90 degrees. Oh, so they're not in the exact order. I'm just realizing that now. They're not in the exact order, but if you kind of keep an eye back and forth, right? And you'll have your paper document with you is what I recommend. If you keep an eye on like, oh, here's 90 minus 224.56. Well, like that sounds familiar, right? Well, that's this one right here, right? That's 7 technically, I guess, on the paper. So it should be pretty straightforward as you've written down your paper examples. Then you come into here, take the quiz, fill it out, boom, and that's how you're gonna get your submission. Okay. Yeah, another question.
Are all of the answers multiple choice?
Yes, yes, they're all multiple choice. They are. Yep, they're all multiple choice. And again, they're based on. It should be based on because it's the same problems, right? So if you could fill it out, if you could fill out the problem on paper, you can carry that over directly to this, right? Is what I'm saying. You know, you've got 3 hours to do the quiz, but I don't think that even that is enough time because you really need to sit down, watch some of the videos, practice on the paper, you know, ensure you've got things right because you only get one chance to take the quizzes as well. It's not a multiple like, you know, 2 or 3 times best score kind of thing. It's you take it once you submit it, that's it.
Yeah, I'm just glad we don't have to worry about formatting.
I did all that. I put it all in this quiz stuff. And, you know, the other great thing about this too is you'll see your grade right away. As soon as you submit, you'll see your grade right away. And I think these are all, these are all multiple choice. So three, you know, answers per one, and you pick the one that is the closest to what you got. The other thing about this too, right? I know that these are math problems and you might not get it exactly the same, but what I've tried to do is make the answers distinguishable enough from one another that it's pretty obvious like which ones. So like say for example, you did your math and you got, I don't know, 34.25, right? That's what you ended up getting on your example as you were filling yours out. Well, of all of these, 34.27 is the closest one, right? So you're definitely going to go through and you're going to be like, okay, the closest, most obvious answer. So I didn't make it like 34.26, 34.23, something like that. Like there's 34.27, 83, like that should be an obvious. And as you go through this, it should be obvious, like that's not the right one. And then like this one here is 34.27. So there are tricks like that you got to be careful that you don't stumble over, right? And I don't know which is the right answer to this. I'm just kind of blabbering on about this, but and I'm not giving away anything either because these are the exact same thing that's on the paper. So, but yeah, you just log in and let's go back here real quick. And I want to just kind of, again, cover all these bases. And you're welcome to check back in at any point during the semester, ask me things. The time one is a similar quiz. I have one about Earth-Sun relationship, which is another quiz type. Okay, so then you get to your midterm exam. And let's see. I'm going to close this off real quick. Put this back to this. So when you get to your midterm exam, okay, I give you guys a week to do it. Okay, I give you a week to do it, right? Or I shouldn't say a week to do it, a week to think about it. Because when you actually sign in to do it, you have, I think, 3 hours, if I'm correct about that. Let's see. Yeah, 3 hours, 180 minutes. Okay, so backing up to the guide. All right. So here's your midterm guide. You just covered 3 modules, right? You just covered 3 modules in this example, where we talk about various things. Module 1, coordinates. Module 2, time. Module 3, sun earth relationships. These are the outcomes, meaning things that you should have learned and know how to do, techniques and executions that you should know how to perform per these modules. And then when you go to take the midterm exam, the questions are completely new. So I don't give you a paper like example and you write that out. No, these are all brand new, okay, when it comes to the midterm. However, you should have had enough experience leading up to that point to feel secure to go in and take that exam. I'm trying to think other important things.
Are they proctored or open note?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, they are. They're open note. Oh, I know what I was going to say, right? I told you it's a week, right? To think about. So when I say that, right? When I say it's a week to think about, again, that means that like the exam opens on Monday, the 28th. It closes on March 6th, which is a Sunday. By the way, again, all of your assignments due on a Sunday. Okay. So so you have this time frame, this window of time to schedule within yourself when you're going to sit down and do this exam, right? It could be on the 6th. It could be on the 28th. It could be on the 29th. Or I guess, I don't know if February has 29 days this year. It could be on March 1st, whatever. Somewhere within that time frame is when you sit down and you take your exam. And then once you sit down and you start your exam, there's 3 hours of time length that begin, right? And there's no pausing at that point. You can't take a couple questions, come back, take a couple questions, come back the next day. No, it doesn't work like that. You sit down, you take it, start it, and it goes. Okay.
Can you go back after you answer a question or after you answer a question that's done?
That's a good question. I don't think you can go back and change them. No, I don't think so. What you can do is, I don't think I'm giving any, well, I can't preview because then I'm going to show you and this is recorded, so I can't do that. But what you, let's see, I don't have it. So the way that I set it up, I'm realizing that now looking at the conditions, it's not set up where it's one question per like page. You know what I mean? So you log in and it's like, and I think I have like 15 to 20 questions per exam. But you log in and it's like all of them in a scrolling like order. Okay. So like you could say, oh, I start with number 1. I don't know how to do this, right? I don't know how to do this. Okay. Scroll through, do number 2, scroll through, do number 4 or something like that. I think it works like that, where you can kind of pick and choose in an order as you scroll through the exam, because I don't have, like I said, I don't have them set up one at a time kind of thing. Yeah. The other last point that I'll make is that since the assignment is due on a Sunday, the following Monday, the correct answers will be published. So I don't think that they just show up on Canvas. You have to go back and look for them. But that's really more for your own reassurance or whatever, because I don't have you guys tested on this stuff later on. This is you get tested at this time and that's it. Okay. Let's see, if you don't take the exam, the questions don't show up, by the way. That it only shows up if you took the exam on like by the due date. I'm trying to think what else. I think that's everything. Yeah. So stick with me each week. I'll send out announcements here and there as necessary about, certain things being due or other things. Let me answer Ignacio's question real quick. Separate question. Will these Zoom meetings be available for us this week, just in case we miss something? Well, I don't have regular Zoom meetings. The only Zoom meeting that I'm doing is this one that we're actually talking about right now. So I am going to post this and put this meeting here on YouTube, and then I'll put it up for you guys to look in the course information. So you can come back and I guess check this one out. But I don't have regular meetings each week. We don't have regular times to meet. It's all asynchronous. So it's self-paced, but per the due dates that I have posted. Okay. I think I covered it all, honestly. And there will be some times like when we get to lab 5 and 6. Those are the ones where I have you turn in some paper. Like a scanned paper. But those I will cover in more detail when we get there. And then we get down to the map stuff, the map labs. I should put map lab here, but map labs at the last month of the semester. And but those aren't paper. Those are turning in a map that I'll give you an account for, and then you put it on the account, and then it all gets kind of posted. Actually, you'll post those on a discussion board when you finish the maps, and all your guys' maps show up on one cool discussion board, and you can talk about them and all this kind of neat stuff. Yeah, another question.
Are the lab papers, are the labs normally 3 to 4 hours, or are those just the quote unquote quizzes?
So the quizzes I give you, the actual time it takes to work through the labs, I think will take you 2 to 3 hours. The quizzes themselves, I provide 3 hours from a technical perspective when you start the quiz, but you don't have to take 3 hours to do the quiz. The quiz is literally clicking and answering the exact same questions that you just filled out in your lab. So you could, most people finish their quiz within like 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And to me, that's like, okay, clearly you went through, if you did good, to me, that shows you spent the time ahead of time filling out, the paper and practicing kind of thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Well, I think I'm done talking. Unless you guys have anything else, I'm good to wrap up. Okay. So stick with me. Like I said, there'll be more to come as we go through the course. The first couple months are going to be pretty straightforward, really. It's once we get to kind of mid-March that there's a little bit of variation in some of the lab content, but I always try to do everything I can to, give you the information you need to be successful. So now you have the rundown of what is expected, and I think you guys will do well. I hope so. And if you need anything at any point, just get in touch with me and I will be there as soon as I can. All right. So for everybody that joined, thanks so much. Have a good rest of your day, and see you next time.
You too. Thank you.
Take care.